Alright guys, so who thought Lightsworn was a deck where you could deck your opponent out by Synchro summoning, because this is the new 60 card Synchro Lightsworn, and I'll give you guys a deck profile for it after, but it looks crazy. I mean, when I first saw this, I was like, no way. How do you deck someone out in Lightsworn? Like, how do you loop them to deck out? And it actually involves this new card called Fairy Tale Shirayuki over here, or Fairy Tale Snow over here. You just abuse this card over and over, but watch what you're able to do in this deck. So he goes for a Coral Dragon to go ahead and blow up the opponent's cards. Go for the Pot of Cupidity, Instant Fusion, bring out that Norden effect to bring back the Resonator. Gonna go ahead and Synchro up to Librarian. Then he's gonna go ahead and add one of those back to his hand. He's gonna special summon Lava Eater. Then he's gonna go into Charge Warrior. He's gonna be able to draw a card, and then he's gonna be able to draw a lot of cards off of this. And I'm just like, what the heck is going on here? It almost reminds me back in the day when people would do the desynchro, resynchro, the Symbols of Heritage, DeLorean kind of loops with Trishula. But just watch what he does. Like, it is crazy to see that this is still legal, by the way. There's no ban cards in here at all. But he's going to make Lightsworn look like the coolest Synchro deck I've ever seen, because it's crazy. Like, he gets a free wolf off of that, and like, he's just gonna go ahead and Synchro summon until his opponent just, you know, obviously loses too many cards, and he's just gonna deck him out. But pretty crazy stuff over here with so we got Soul Charge over here. I mean, heck, he could make a Quasar, but like, why make Quasar when you can deck your opponent out when you're playing Lightsworn? That's crazy. But he's going to go ahead and activate Snow once again, and it just keeps on banishing this card so he can have more room to special summon more cards. But his opponent goes ahead and can't draw cards, so he loses. But anyways, I know a lot of you guys want the deck profile, but keep in mind, guys, you don't have to play it like this. You can play the deck completely differently. You don't have to, again, deck your opponent out. This deck, it's just a Synchro Lightsworn deck at the end of the day. But I want to give you guys the deck profile for this. So it is a 60 card deck, so it's pretty bold in that aspect. And some of you guys might be thinking, oh, what if you send Soul Charge to the graveyard, or what if you send like an important card to the graveyard? Don't worry, there's this card called Magical Stone Excavation, which lets you get some of the cards you might want back if you happen to send them to the graveyard via the Lightsworn effects. So anyways, oh, by the way, shout outs to the guy that, actually, real quick, I gotta give him a shout out, because he's the one that originally made it, Sage Saiyan. So thanks for sending in this awesome deck, because I know a lot of people will be excited to try this out, and he didn't even use Mally. There's another card I want to recommend you guys. It's called Void Ogre Dragon. Okay, this is just another card. I just wanted to mention it because it's a really good card as well. But anyways, let's go ahead and go over this massive 60 card deck. So first off, we have one copy of the Gem Knight Garnet. So this is basically used because of the Brilliant Fusion, which also got a reprint recently, so it's kind of nice. And then he's got 3 copies of Destiny Hero Malicious. There is no D-Draw in here. I mean, you could probably get away with 1 D-Draw if you would really want to try it, but I don't think you really need it. In fact, you could even play Allure of Darkness. Actually, you could make this deck even faster now that I'm thinking about it, because you have a decent amount of targets for Allure. You have Armageddon Knight, you have the Mally, you have the Plague, and you have Lily. You know what? You could put Allure of Darkness, dude. Yeah, you could make this deck even faster. But anyways, yeah, we got triple Mally, then we got 3 copies of Wolf Lightsworn Beast, we got 2 copies of Photon Thrasher, and then 3 copies of Fairy Tale Snow, which is what actually lets you deck out your opponent. Most of the time, you're not going to try to go for that. At least that's how I feel, but you can do it. But anyways, so it's a level 4 that says if this card is no more special summon, you get to target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, and you get to change it to face-down defense position. During either player's turn, if this card is in your graveyard, you can banish 7 other cards from your hand, field, and or graveyard to special summon this card. So it obviously clears some of the board up so you guys can keep on going for those extensive plays if your board is kind of clogged up, as you guys saw in the replay. But it's got a decent amount of attack too. It's 1850, so it's not like a bad card at all. And then next up we have 3 copies of Raiden Hand of the Lightsworn. You can see that there is no Judgment Dragons. This is Synchro Lightsworn. You don't need Judgment Dragon. That's how crazy it is. But we got 3 copies of Raiden from Metal Gear. And then we've got the Performing Trick Clown. We got the 1 copy of Armageddon Knight. It's really key to have Level Eater go to the grave. I know a lot of you guys want me to cover the OCG ban list. It's a speculation. It's a unconfirmed ban list. I'll probably end up going over it anyways because every one of you guys is just sending me messages. Hey, dude, did you see the new ban list? I want to wait a couple days, but I will make a video on that, by the way. But yeah, getting Level Eater in the graveyard is very, very important, as it opens up a lot of doors to like keep on special summoning. And then we have 3 copies of Felice, the Lightsworn Archer. And then we got 2 copies of Lumina Lightsworn Summoner, really good card. And then we have 1 Minerva Lightsworn Maiden, not to be confused with the actual, like, you know, expensive card. And then we have 1 copy of the Red Resonator. And then we have 2 copies of Plague Spreader Zombie, 3 copies of Love Eater, which is, again, what pretty much lets you do whatever you want to do in this deck. And then we have 1 copy of Jet Synchron, and then we have 1 copy of Glow Bulb. A card I noticed that was not in here that you could definitely run is a card called 141. 141. So I'm just giving you guys suggestions, but I wanted to show you guys the deck as is. But yeah, 141 could definitely be a good card in this deck as well, because you have a lot of cards which you can't really do too much with if they're in your hand. So there's a lot of cards you can get rid of with 141. And yeah, that could be another great card just to add into the deck. Then 3 copies of Slow Recharge just to help out with your draw power, and it's just an overall really good card. And then we have 3 copies of Instant Fusion. You only really need 1 to go off. Again, you can discard it with this, you can discard it with Lumina if you really don't need it. And heck, with this, it's just 7 cards, other cards, so it doesn't even have to be monsters, so that's really good. For that aspect. But I mean, overall, yeah, again, you just really only need 1. I know a lot of Mermail decks that have topped, like, they'll only play 1 Norden in their extra because they're clogged up for room, but they'll still play 3 Instant Fusion because when you go for that card, you win. Or if you guys want to, the other card that a lot of people play as another Instant Fusion target is 1000. Well, it's 1000 Eyes Restrict. Hold on, I gotta find the card. Wait. If I could spell. Alright, 1000 Eyes Restrict. This is another good target for a Instant Fusion target, because it just absorbs something. And they can just get rid of a problematic card. Then we have 3 copies of Resonator Call, 1 copy of Reinforcement of the Army. It searches out Armageddon Knight, which can actually be kind of key. It can also search off Thrasher or Raiden from Metal Gear. And then we have 3 copies of Pot of Cupidity, but it's a 60 card deck, so don't really worry about decking out at all. You'll be okay on that. And then we have 1 copy of Soul Charge, which opens up a lot of OP plays. Again, don't worry if you mill it because you have the Magical Stone Excavation. And then we have 2 copies of Metal Bow Fusion over here, which, if this card is in your graveyard, you can shuffle it into the deck and then draw a card. So it's pretty much just like a free plus, you know, just put it back. It's kind of dirty to see this in livestream. It has like no use at all. It's literally just like, hopefully send it to the graveyard and just, again, you get a free draw off of it. And then we have 1 copy of Foolish. Your targets with Foolish are pretty much going to be Wolf, Malicious, and Level Eater, but you can also send like Plague Spreader Zombie or a target that you want to get back with Lumina. There's a lot more options there. There's Glow Up Bulb, but for the most part, those are your main targets. And then we have 2 copies of Charge of the Light Brigade. And then we have 3 copies of Magical Stone Excavation. He didn't even use it in here, but it's pretty self-explanatory. It's an older card. I'll go over its effect really quick. So you discard 2 cards to select 1 spell card from your graveyard and add it to your hand. That's any spell card. You can activate it. There's no downside to this card, really, other than you have to discard 2 cards, but there's a lot of cards which you can't really do too much with in your hand. And then we have 3 copies of Brilliant Fusion, and then 2 copies of Different Dimension Reincarnation. So some of the cards that you banish via Fairy Tale, you're going to be able to actually get back with Different Dimension Reincarnation. Now that we're done with the main deck, let's go ahead and jump into the extra deck. So first off, we have the Gem Knight. Target for the Brilliant Fusion. This just allows you to get an additional normal summon. And then we have the 1 copy of Norden, 1 copy of Trishula, 3 copies of Psyframe Lord Omega, and then we have the Ancient Fairy Dragon, which gives you that additional summon. What's it? You can't conduct your battle phase when you use that effect, but it doesn't matter if you're decking your opponent out, or if you really want to, guys, you can make Quasar in the deck. And then, I mean, if you make a Quasar plus like a Trish, or like, you know, like, I don't know, like a Minerva, like, you pretty much secure game next turn if they don't finish you off. But overall, I don't really think that this is super necessary unless you're just kind of going for the duck out. But it's there. The option is definitely there. Then we have 2 copies of Coral Dragon. Really good new card. Probably one of the best level 6 synchros we have that's generic in the game. And then we have Stardust Charge War, so you can just draw another card. Then we have Librarian, which lets you draw more cards. I mean, you saw the guy draw so many cards in that game play that we just watched. Then we have Excel Synchron. We got Young Tatsunoko over here. And we got Formula Synchron, and of course, Minerva. The last cards over here, they're just suggestions that I can give to you guys. Void Ogre Dragon, as well as Stardust Spark Dragon. These are all cards I can recommend you guys to try out. Maybe if you don't like some of these cards, I don't think you really need Triple Omega. But I mean, it is really good in Synchro decks, don't get me wrong. But it's just nice to sometimes have those other options. Also, another card I really recommend you guys to play is I like this card. Heck, dude, I still like Scrap Dragon, but this card overall is just like much better. It destroys every special summon monster, and then you get to burn your opponent for each one, and it's got 3k attack. So I really feel like Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend is one of those cards. Like it's too good not to play most Synchro decks, because there are some times where your opponent like goes all in, and then you go for your one play like Instant Fusion, they go negate, and you follow it up with a Scarlet, you blow up everything, and you go for a game. So I really like this card, but yeah, these are other options if you guys want to try out some other cards. And I don't know, I like this. Like, I know no one really plays this card. It was a prize card before, but like randomly this card becomes really valuable because it sends it to the graveyard. It doesn't destroy. I like this card. I mean, it's probably outclassed, honestly, by most of these things these days, but I just want to give you guys, you know, the option if you guys want to swap out anything, or you guys are like, well, I want to make it in real life, but I can't afford this card. I understand. But yeah, that is the Synchro Lightsworn deck. Again, there's no Judgment Dragons here. Not that that's an expensive card, but nonetheless, yeah, it's a really cool deck. Thank you, Saiyan, for sending in this awesome replay of this really cool deck. But anyways, I like these more obscure kind of decks. And like I said, I'll give you guys that like OCG ban list once like it gets more finalized and more confirmed, so to speak. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the vid, make sure you guys get a like button, a titty slap. And I'm signing out.